So are you ready to PR yourself? We'll remove the mystery from all things PR, and we'll discuss everything from our top strategies to tips and tricks and everything that you can utilize to further enhance your brand or your message. I've been in media, I'm a journalist, and I'm also a publicist. I am Leah Frazier, CEO of Think3 Media, and your host for PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. Let's go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. You guys, listen, you guys are blowing my mind. We just received notification that this podcast is in the top 30, number 29 actually, in the US for marketing podcasts and in the top 100 in Canada for marketing podcasts. So thank you to each and every one of you faithful listeners. Thank you guys for sharing this out. Thank you for interacting with me. Thanks for sharing it on social media. We're just extremely grateful that this project has reached the levels that it has in such a short period of time. So thank you again. And I want you guys to just get interactive. Go on pryourselfwithleahfrazier.com. Leave me a message and let me know if you have an episode suggestion or there's something going on with your business that you want me to bring in the experts to help and tell you how to PR it better. Again, get involved. You're going to go to the link in my bio at the Leah Frazier on Instagram, and I have a whole list of things you can do. You can join our private Facebook group. In that group, I go live. I tell you what's hot and trending in social media and marketing and PR. I put media leads in there. There's one I've got to do today. And you're also going to want to interact with the other women. And I think we have some men in that community now, in that private Facebook community, okay? Because I'm going to start growing that so that you guys can discuss among yourselves how to PR yourselves better as we move through 2021 and beyond. Also, if you're interested, we still have the monthly membership available. It's only $49 a month, and you can find information on that at think3media.com/think3edu. That is our monthly membership where I literally do a class session like I would teach with my students at the university. I do a class session on what's hot in marketing and public relations. I give you your takeaways. I give you something to work on for 30 days. And then several weeks later, we come back and we mastermind as a group to make sure that we're working on that one thing that you need to get worked on for that month. And we continue that monthly. And it's a great resource and it's a great way, an affordable way for you to hear from me. I bring in experts and also for you to have accountability. That way you're working through for solutions for your small business or as an entrepreneur. And lastly, you're going to want to stay tuned. Yes, pryourselfbook.com. You're going to want to sign up for that as we get closer to the book being released. But also you're going to want to go to PR Yourself with leahfrazier.com online. There's a tab called course, and you're going to want to sign up there because I am re-releasing my live course one last time. I know I said that before. I'm going to do it again. I have just revised it. I've created a couple more modules, and it's really going to go into a little bit more of an organized depth on how you can earn free media and press coverage consistently for your small business and your brand. And again, it's super duper affordable, and I want to offer that to you guys. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And enjoy this latest episode, and I look forward to hearing from you all. All right, welcome back to another episode of PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. We're live, kind of live, at the Slate Studios, and I have a very special guest, and we're talking all things today, fashion, but fashion particularly for our curvier girls because, hey, we need a little bit of love too. And myself personally, with all of my COVID fun that I had for an entire year, let me name it out. Smokey John's Barbecue, the Cake Bar, Cookie Society in Frisco. Shout out to Tiffany Dairy and Roots Chicken Shack. All of you guys have contributed to my COVID weight gain success, which now I'm trying to get off. But I want to talk all things fashion. We have a very special guest in the studio today, Shavonne Dorsey.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. No, how are you?
Oh my God, I'm great. And I'm so happy to be here, sitting here talking with you.
I'm happy that you actually came. just because it was one of those things we were, chit-chatting. I didn't want it to be just a normal podcast interview.
Ooh.
Like, I feel like with what you do, people need to see it. They need to see you. We have a beautiful rack right here. Sorry if you guys are listening audio only, but maybe go check this out on YouTube. But we actually have her fashion and her designs here. Beautiful prints. Like, it's very vibrant, and it's making me happy just to look at it.
Oh, I love that. I'm all about emotional fashion experiences. I love to know that it makes you happy.
The emotional fashion experience.
Very intentional.
Pop-up experience.
Yes.
That's a title for something.
Yeah,
We'll,
it is.
we'll tab that for later. Okay. So I think one of the coolest things, the reason why I wanted to have you in, we have a very special announcement a little bit later. But I wanted, we have a lot of small businesses and entrepreneurs that listen in, and I moved back to Dallas in 2011. And I remember just doing like my fashion coverage, and I don't know what year we actually met or where, but I remember you being like, when I was doing all my fashion journalism, you were the go-to, like that's who you go to for plus size fashion or like for curvier girls. Like, this is the person in Dallas, and it was always you.
Thank you so much.
I'm serious. But I remember I got pissed. I don't know what article I wrote where I was like, is there not more?
Yeah. Is there not more? That's a great question. Well, it's been said and actually statistically proven 75%. This is huge. 75% of American women wear a size 16, but less than 20% of retailers cater to her. You do now.
I do now.
You're part of that 75%?
I am. I am a 14, 16.
Welcome to my world. I've never been a skinny girl, so I don't know what it feels like. And quite
you ain't
frankly,
missing out on much. No shade.
And it's okay. It's
you're
okay.
fine.
Okay. I've never been a skinny girl, and no shade to my skinny queens, because at the end of the day, women make the world go round. I don't care if you're 2 or 22. But my experience as a woman and even as a young adolescent girl has always been on the fuller side of life. So it's all I knew. It's all I understood. I was wearing a bra in 5th and 6th grade already. I mean, things like that. And so as you grow up into this body, there are several clients that I've had where they're like, oh my God, I used to wear a size 8 and now I'm a 16 after the baby and marriage, and I don't know how to dress this new body. I understand that woman, but that woman wasn't me.
Right.
So that's probably why I started designing. I have other things, but one of the main reasons was to dress me. I would go to stores and I would say, oh my God, that's so cute, but I would do this to it. Or I would change that. Or I would, make it this way. And so instead of saying what I would do, I just did it.
Yeah.
Now,
did you have a degree or anything like that in fashion design?
No, my degree is in behavioral and social sciences and health administration.
You're like me. I didn't get a degree in it.
No, not in that. I know. In fact, I was in medical sales for like 20 years.
So did you teach yourself how to sew? Like, how did
No, I taught myself. I'm a researcher. I'm the type of person, if I'm falling in love with something, I want to learn more about it. And this is before, the Instagram days. This is before the Twitter and social media. It was, you go on your feet and you walk and you find out. You go read, you go research. And I am self-taught. I learned how to sketch. One of my wonderful sorority sisters, she saw my sketches and she kind of made fun of me. She's an artist. And she said, let me show you how to sketch the human body for real.
Oh, wow.
And that was super, super helpful to me. And from there, I learned how to sketch the human body. And from there, I started sketching fuller female bodies. And what we call in the fashion world is croquis. Croquis are like, your human body on paper. And so I intentionally started sketching full-figured women, and that's how I started sketching and dressing them on paper. I'm fascinated by creativity. I don't care what you do. It could be music. It could be art. You could build and design houses. Creativity for me is the life of what we do. It's the life of what I do. And so I'm inspired by so many things. I just want women to feel beautiful, because they are. They are.
They are. And I remember specifically, I got to find this article. It's out there somewhere where I was just pissed. I was like, we have Shavonne. Is there no one else? Do you always have to put us in muumuus? Do you always have to complain that the reason we can't have those things is because it costs you extra fabric? So like if you were going to design this for a plus size woman, it's going to cost us double. Like there was a long list of excuses I remember.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking to myself, like, that isn't fair.
No.
And I was like, do we always have to be put in these peplum dresses? You know, it was like, it was a set of like 3 types of designs where if I was sent to cover a show, I'd see the same thing every single time. So what we're looking at today, that's not what I would see at a typical runway show. It's like, you are plus, you wear a muumuu. And you could tell that either the stylist or whoever that was dealing with the women just didn't know how to dress their bodies. And I'll be honest, I still model today, and I just bring my own stuff.
Wow.
I bring my own stuff because I was recently on set, and the stylist was adorable. Bless your heart. And, you know, so I waver anywhere between, like, if it has a lot of stretch, I can squeeze into a 12.
Yes.
You know, 14, 16 at the highest, right? So I go into the shoot, and I'm busty.
Same here. We're blessed.
We're just blessed for success, you know? And even no matter how much weight I lose, I'll always have big boobs.
Yes.
And so I walked in and I brought my own stuff, and she put this really cute outfit together. And she's like, can you go try this on? And I'm looking at it on the hanger, and I'm like, I said, how much stretch does it have in that?
Right.
You know, and she was like a size 00.
Oh,
so
God.
that happens. Like that is, I bet if we went around and interviewed a bunch of plus size models in the industry that gets regular work, it's always someone who at one point in time could probably never relate to how you need to style your body trying to style you.
Yes.
Which is fine if you throw something on me and then some of the gigs I used to get regularly, they'd have an actual sewer on set who would sew our clothing if it was too big or they needed to make us look, more curvier. Yeah. But for the most part, no, you're going to get somebody who doesn't understand extra spandex in that puppy.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I think that when it comes to, plus size, the plus size industry overall, which I'm sure you know, being a professional model, has evolved very much, especially within the last 10 to 15 years. It's really, really evolved. I was in the Macy's Chicago Fashion Incubator program, and this is a program that only allows 6 designers a year. That's amazing. I think the year that I submitted, because I'm originally from Gary, Indiana, my parents did everything in Chicago, so Chicago was home. After school, I moved and lived in
Indiana.
Lived in Chicago.
Kiana, if you're listening, we found another one.
Hey,
gone,
as they say, GI. But that's where I was born and raised, and Chicago was like home for me because my parents did everything there. And I remember when I was in the Macy's Chicago Fashion Incubator program, I think that year 100 people submitted. They only allowed 6 designers. I was the first one they've ever had or allowed for plus size.
Wow!
And when I tell you, they grilled me.
What do you mean they grilled you?
Oh, questions from everywhere. Well, how are you going to, have you ever thought about, why would you want to do plus size? We've never had a plus size designer in the program before. I mean, all these types of questions.
Your fault.
Or my opportunity, however you look at it, right? And that program, it was very rigorous. I left my corporate career to complete that program because it's a year long. And that, for me, was a time when it was tough because I remember they have this huge show called Chicago Fashion Focus, and it's the biggest fashion show of the year, okay?
Wow. And
we were to show our designs. I was initially asked to put my designs on size 2 women because those were the models that they had. And I said, well, I don't think I can really do that because my samples, everything I'm doing is like size 14. That would look crazy. It looked like she might have a blanket on going down the runway. And I kind of had to push for them to extend the budget for me, the only plus size designer they've ever had, let alone showing, to have these models walk down. And long story short, they ended up extending the budget, thankfully. And I was able to show my designs
on the intended body.
On the intended body, yeah. And that was crazy. But I think that the plus size industry has evolved so much.
Oh,
I
it
think
has.
now there's a lot more.
There's lingerie.
Yeah.
There's swimwear.
Yeah, there's some more like
Cute,
tastier options out here.
curvy, form-fitting, but we don't feel like it's, not flattering.
Right.
There's so many different options out there.
Yeah. Well, I am clearly in my mid-40s. When I started,
Not clearly.
well,
Take off a decade. That's what she looks like.
Thank you.
In person.
You're so
But
kind,
anywho,
Leah. Thank
not
you.
being kind, being real. If you were like,
appreciate it.
I'm in my mid-40s, and you look like you're in mid-40s, I'll be like,
Okay. I really, really appreciate that. I think that was part of my dilemma, though, when I was designing. I knew who I was professionally on paper. I was still kind of going out on the scene. I was not married then. Okay. And I wanted to feel sexy, but yet not overly sexed.
Right.
And I think that's the thin line that I've seen cross so many times in the plus size industry. There's a clear difference between being, conservatively sexy and sexy trashy. And I think that line is blurred so often. I don't touch that line. I touch it, but I touch it with care. I touch it with confidence, and I touch it with understanding, knowing that how can I make the curvy woman look sexy, but not oversexed? And I think that a lot of stuff now, unfortunately, in the plus size industry, it's like, if you can fit it, wear it. And if that's okay for you, that's okay for you. But I'm a woman, and I like to keep things classy, and I like to keep things beautiful. And I like for women to look like queens. I feel like every woman is a queen, whether she regards herself as one or not. That's her opinion. But I think as women as queens, and I try to design for that. Royalty, opulence, class, sophistication, redefining womanhood through my designs is what I really, really want to do. And I think that full-figured women for so many years have gotten shafted.
Yeah.
They've gotten the short end of the stick. Oh, your section is all the way over there in the corner. You got to walk all across the store, and there's the plus size. Those days in my head are done. And I want to provide curvier women with options. I want to provide them with color. I want to provide complementary silhouettes, things of comfort. I don't want everything tight on me all the time, but I still want to be sexy. Well, how do we do that? Let's talk, So, yeah, I'm just excited about this.
I'm excited too. And I think what I don't want anybody to ever get twisted is that like this break in your opportunity has come after a lot of years of hard work. So how long have you been at this thing?
So I launched in 2007, but I've been designing up since about 2004 or 5.
Okay.
So
we've got about 17 years of hard work. At one point in time, you had a full-time gig. It was like on the side, and you kept working at it. Yes. Again, when we talked about it before, I didn't get back to Dallas to 2011. And so that's when I was made aware, when I started covering all the fashion shows. And then I don't know what happened, but I was like, where is Shavonne?
Yes.
But you were still working hard. And were there times during this entire process where you're like, maybe this isn't for me, I think I'm going to give up?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my father had passed. So I took a break a little bit. That was tough for me. I was a daddy's girl. I was the baby. And so that kind of hit me hard. And I just found myself kind of trying to reconfigure who I am as a designer, and where I fit in this industry. Because when I took that break, believe it or not, as we know, Leah, you've been in the fashion industry for years. Fashion moves at the speed of light.
If you take a break and they're like, oh, we're never going to see her again. Or like, she got pregnant.
Yeah.
That's it for her.
It. Yeah.
And, or kind of a look to your left, look to your right thing. They're not going to be hearing about.
Oh, yeah.
In a year or two.
Oh, yes.
The whole scene is going to have changed.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's exactly what it was. When I got back in it, I'm like, whoa, things are different. I did a little bit of rebranding. I did a little bit of self-assessment on who I am as a designer. how do I fit in the industry? Because, I mean, you always hear those negative thoughts in your head, like, oh, they're doing that. I don't know if you can do that anymore, or your stuff looks a little dated, or, all these things. It's a normal experience, You're going to have those thoughts, but how do you shut those things down? You pay attention to three things: your passion, your goals, and your purpose. And that's what I kept hearing. What's my passion? It's fashion. What's my goal? To serve women better in the area of fashion. And what's my purpose? To be the best designer that I possibly can be. And those are the things that I tuned on, and I tuned the other stuff out. We have to do that, know? Because, I mean, it's greater than me. It's greater than me. It's for everyone outside of me. That's what this is about. It's not about me.
I know. And see, so here's the funny thing. I told you I walked in today. I was just in a funk. It's a Monday.
Yes.
And I was talking to one of the producers here, and I was just like, I've done so much. I take off notifications on my phone and nothing, just like, pardon my French, chaps my ass, is that when I can hear my computer dinging, ding, 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 at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, for you early risers that like to do your emails that early. And for some reason this morning, it just kind of gave me a bit of anxiety. There's just so much going on, so many projects I'm helping out with, and I just had that feeling of being overwhelmed.
Yes.
And I'm just like any other entrepreneur out there, where sometimes I second guess and I say, why am I doing this?
Yes.
Like, should I be doing this? Would I be happier doing something else? Would I be a little bit less stressed out? Would I have a little bit less anxiety? But maybe with a tweak here or a tweak there, to your point, if you're looking at those three things, and I'm like you, what gets me back into kind of center is thinking about you're serving. So when I just told you, I was like, no, it's kingdom purpose, it's not me. And I know he won't put more on me than he can bear. So I really appreciate you talking about those three things, because I'm not perfect, and I go through it. And I'm sure people that are listening, you guys go through it and figure out, like, do I have 17 years in me?
Oh, hello. Do I?
And I'm sure when you were in it, you did, or when you first got into it, you didn't think it was going to be 17.
No. Oh, clearly
17
not.
plus.
Absolutely. In fact, it's so funny that you say that. I remember when I first got into it, and my brother, he's a licensed stockbroker. He introduced me to what we call a business plan. I'm like, whoa, what is this? I didn't know. I just was out there sketching, trying to see who I can sell my clothes to, and he's like, you need a business plan. You're out here doing God knows what. He goes, put this stuff on paper. And I'm like, okay. And he's the one that was like, look, you need a roadmap to your success. And he made me, like, this is my big brother, of course. He made me sit down and turn this business plan in like it was a midterm. Seriously. He's like, you're not doing anything else until you get this done. And I'm so thankful for that. Again, that was 20 years ago now, I guess. But it taught me that, you have to have some structure to your dreams.
Yeah.
People always talk about dream big. Yeah, that's true. And I get it. I'm big on attracting great things. But you have to have some plans. You have to have some structure. You have to have something that's going to keep you accountable to what it is that you're trying to do. And that business plan was the roadmap to what I have been doing. Now, have I gotten it right all the time? Absolutely not. Have I derailed on several occasions? Have I made mistakes? More than I can count, remember, or even tell you. But that's part of the journey. I love mistakes. I know people are like, what? But I do. And I'm going to tell you why. Mistakes are like your guideline. It's like when you tell a child not to touch a hot stove, they know now, don't touch a hot stove because they got burned. My mistakes are like those incidents. They guide me. They steer me. Okay, that was wrong. That was dumb. That cost you way too much money. You probably should have paid more for that because look what you got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of these mistakes are my little jewels of lessons that I can apply to this 20 years of my career. So I own them all. I own them all.
Yeah.
They're all mine,
amazing.
That's why I respect people who can say, you know what, I didn't do it right, but I did it. But I did it. It might not have been the best. It might not have been, I probably would have done it differently, but I did it. And so the fact that, someone can look at me and say, oh my God, how did you? And I don't think it's about how, it's just about that I did, because your how is your how.
Right.
And my how is my how.
And sometimes we don't even know how.
We don't even know
just
how.
blink and it's like,
it's here.
I don't know how I got here, but I'm here.
Yes.
And it's because you did a lot of doing.
Yes, you did a lot of doing. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Tweet of the week, did a lot of doing, okay? I'm going to tell you, momentum is powerful. Doing something, one thing that really I what's the word I'm looking for? I empathize with people who have perfection paralysis.
That's me, yeah.
Is that
But I know I have it, but I know the way to get past it is to do.
Yes.
Right? I was like, Leah, if you do these 3 things and check them off, like I literally have to make checklists every day.
Whew, get it.
Check it off because internally in my mind, it tells me you're making progress rather than you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. This is due, this event Saturday, this is this. Like I'll go crazy. Gotcha. But if I can narrow that down, what can you check off?
Yes.
And I feel like I'm accomplishing something.
Yes.
So psychologically, that's what I have to do.
Oh, and it's a real thing. I love checklists because it makes me, like you said, it makes me feel like, okay, I'm getting some stuff done here. Mm-hmm. But it's the truth. It's like perfection paralysis. I feel like I don't think I struggled with that because I'm definitely more of a doer and less of a planner. That's why my brother was like, sit your butt down because I will just do. But perfection paralysis, I remember when I was sketching, I was like, oh, wow, I probably should, get this correct or get this better. And really, a sketch is really just a guide for your manufacturer.
Yeah.
I mean, a sketch is just a concept, an idea so they can understand what you're trying to do, and then, of course, they're going to try to, duplicate it in the form of fabric.
Right.
And if it works, great. If it's not, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's figure out how we can fix this or make it like what you imagined. Mm-hmm. Sometimes what I imagined was not what I sketched. Hello. Yeah. That's a duper right there. Scary.
Like, no, it's supposed to be. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, like with fashion, I feel like it's an expression for women, with the whole COVID thing that's been going on, and we've been locked up in the house, and, we're like, oh my God, getting a little stir crazy. Most of us are working from home more than ever.
Yeah.
I think pet sales went up tons of millions of dollars. We even bought a pet. Okay.
Oh my God.
Which it's a girl. I always say he, but it's a girl. Because my previous dog was a boy, but she always is with me when I'm sketching and designing. I've learned how to kind of live vicariously through her because she just, nothing is, there's no fear in her world. It's just, I want this, I'm going to do this. She's still a puppy. She's 5.5 months, Aww. But her innocence is part of her fearlessness. And that's what I think is so beautiful. So when it comes to fashion, I'm like, you know what? How can I celebrate women? How can I acknowledge women? And how can I show women that, you are beautiful? I like to dress women from the inside out.
Yeah.
I really do. You can put the baddest dress on someone and she can still be brokenhearted. Mm-hmm. You can put the most gorgeous outfit on a woman and she can still be depressed or full of despair. I'm all about, we can start from the outside, but let's talk about who you are. Yeah. That's why when I was in Chicago, I did a lot of trunk shows. That's something that people don't do anymore, okay?
I love trunk shows.
Me too. I'm from the old school, okay? This was before you could just sell on Instagram and have a pop-up boutique online,
Yeah.
But I used to do trunk shows, Leah, and it was so cool because I got to meet the actual women that loved my designs. I got to know about them. I got to understand who they are. I got to understand, what they didn't love about their bodies. And they got a chance to critique me on some of my designs. So, you have to be, to me as a fashion designer, I've had to be an open book. I don't believe in having, an ego. For what? I'm doing something to serve women. I'm doing something to dress queens. I'm doing something to enrich their lives and hopefully their wardrobes, right?
Yeah.
So, when you have that go-to dress in your wardrobe and you're like, oh, girl, I'm going to wear this again. This is my good old faithful. You know what I mean? And you put it on for how many events? I want to be that dependable in a woman's closet. That's what I want. This is my go-to. I'm going to wear Shavonne Dorsey. My Shavonne Dorsey Bella dress, I'm going to wear that. That dress, it's new to, well, you know who. We'll talk about that later, right? But I sewed that dress over and over and over and over again. I swear I got sick of it. But it's been my star dress, and people love it.
Yeah.
And then, to be honest with you, I designed it for me. And I'll tell you what, I'm kind of like SpongeBob with boobs, okay? I said it. I'm not an hourglass type of girl. I've tried to, the waist trainers and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, you know what? This is my beautiful body. as God made it. I'm SpongeBob with boobs, kind of rectangular, you know what I mean? Have to create a waist, you know, God knows with what. I don't even like wearing that stuff. So I designed this dress for me, and I designed something to hide my little pooch, my kangaroo pooch, you know, pouch, whatever. And, you know, my little rose in the back, okay? Oh. They are real. And I designed something to kind of hide my bum because I'm a little blessed back there, you know? Yeah. And this dress was really designed for me, but it ended up being my #1 bestseller over and over and over and over again. Oh. So I kept carrying it. I stopped it on one collection, and I got questions. I go, what happened to that? And I'm like, well, what about the other stuff? Yeah, I love that. But what about that one dress you had? I was hoping you'd do it in another color. So I learned that when you have something that women love or people love, continue to do that. Continue to do that. Give people what they desire. Give people what makes them happy. And another thing, in fashion design, I know I've met a lot of designers, and they just want to create what they want to create. And that's cool. Nothing wrong with it. But is it sellable? Yeah. Is it marketable? Yeah. Is it realistic? Is it just a piece of art on a hanger? Like, there you go. You know, and if that's your market, that's your market. But I knew who my market was, and it took me some years to find that out. Who is the Shavonne Dorsey woman? Who is she? Well, now that I know, she's an amazing woman. And I can tell you my target market. I know it like the back of my hand. She's like my best friend.
Which that's so important. We talk about that a lot on this show. Really? So go ahead and, identifying your target market and not just out there shooting arrows and your bullets all over the place. Well, let's not talk about bullets. There's too much shooting going on in America. Right. But just, aiming all over the place, and you're not really hitting a target because you don't know. Mm-hmm. So when you know, every time you aim is a bullseye every single time. And it works amazing. Like magic. Yeah. It is amazing. It hurts when you don't know it, and it feels great when you do. I'm telling you. Yeah. Like you said, the arrows, I was shooting arrows in the dark, like if it's a woman, it's my client. And that's not true. Mm-hmm. That's not necessarily true. My target market typically, okay, because, you always have those variances or the variables. Yeah, those one-offs like, oh, really? You like Shavonne Dorsey? Hey, I'm surprised, but welcome. Thank you. Yeah, welcome. For real, I'm not turning away anybody, But she is typically a professional woman. Mm-hmm. She's a woman who still loves to be sexy. She's confident about her age. She's not afraid to share it, but she's not necessarily trying to dress like her grandmother either. Mm-hmm. She loves color. She loves expression. She likes to have things that other people don't have, or she likes to get to it first. That's why I had a lot of success with boutiques. Keep going. She likes to get to it first. Me. Yeah, she is you. Keep going. She loves style. She loves to be styled. She loves everything about fashion if it shows who she is as a professional debonair queen. She likes things that are going to, celebrate her shape, to give a beautiful complementary look to her silhouette. She doesn't want stuff skin tight, because she wants to breathe. She wants to be comfortable, Please, dear God. And she likes things that flow. Yes. like or a sitting in the chair where you're like, your butt's barely touching the chair because you got to scoop back up in a little bit. Yes. None of that. Comfort, style, flow, ease, travel easy pieces. I have a lot of women that travel a lot. So we're getting back into that. Yes, so, we are. Thank God. Yeah. These pieces travel very easy. I took them to Miami. Yes. Just took them out the suitcase. Shook him a little bit. And kept it moving. Yep. That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, too. So you found 17 years. Yes. You know this woman now like the back of your hand. She is your best friend. She is your homegirl. She's your sister. She's the queen. She's just everything you ever imagined. Yes. And then now you have the opportunity of a lifetime. Yes. Tell me a little bit about it. Oh, my God. This is incredible. Hard work pays off, people. Hard work. Consistency, dedication, and belief in yourself too. Yes. So I am about to launch my line with HSN. And I'm so excited, Leah. I'm excited for you. Thank you so much. This is amazing. I mean, there's people that, when they first get in, oh, I want to go on QVC. Oh, I want to do HSN, and they never get there, and you're there. I'm here. And you're, in a couple of days, you get to experience that. Yeah. Now, virtually, but still it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing. What people don't know, it's funny that you say that because I had a lot of people, are you still designing? Or what's going on? And this has been 2.5, really 3 years in the making. So I've been kind of silent. I've been a little bit under the radar, but I started focusing more on women and who they are, what they want to be, who they want to, what they want to see through me and my brand. I did a lot of I call it background homework.
Good.
Wasn't on stage. I was in the backstage, studying and understanding more about the essence and the internal mechanisms of the women that I'm dressing. You got to know who they are.
Yeah.
So with HSN, this has been, as I said before, about 2.5 to 3 years in the making. And I'm going to be honest with you. My first corporate life, I was in sales. I was in medical sales. So I called on physicians for 20 years. Okay. So, you got to know how to speak to people, right?
Yeah.
And I found emails dating back to, I think November of 2018, where I had, hey, my name is Shavonne Dorsey, and I just want to know how do you, totally innocent.
But it's okay.
I didn't know what to say, but I did something. Remember what did you say earlier about do when you're doing, or
something about keep doing
something, doing
whatever I said. It must have been the spirit, but you get it.
I do get it. And that's what I was doing something. And I emailed, I sent pictures, just trying to figure out what's the process, as I call it, to partner. I don't want you to just carry my line. I want to partner with you.
Yeah.
You carry other lines, but I want to partner with you. How do we do this thing? And so, little emails started to turn into little responses. Little responses started to turn into conversations. Conversations started to turn into, more questions. Well, what about this? What about that? And let me tell you, one thing about HSN, they do not move quick.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, they're too big to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're too big to. And I understood that. And that was explained to me as I got further in the process. But one thing I love about this is exciting to me. Now, as you know, traditionally, I'm a plus size designer, right? That's what everyone knew me as. I'm the curvy girl. Shavonne dresses the big girls. That's still true. I got love because I'm a curvy girl.
Yeah.
But HSN is doing something that I've always wanted to do, which is design for smaller women too. They are really big on size inclusivity. And as a small-time designer, it was not in my bandwidth to be able to carry 0 to 24. I intentionally started at 12, and then I started at 14, and I just focused on that niche. But they were like, well, Shavonne, we love your style. We love your designs. But what about our smaller women? What about them? I said, well, let's talk about them. I'm open. And they said, you know what? If you're open, then so are we. Let's figure out how to do this thing. And I'll be launching with them on, May 13th.
Yay!
Yes, with HSN. And I'm so excited. They're such a great company, Leah.
And I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
Because now that essence, you've expanded the market, but it's the same woman. It's the same desires. It's the same needs. And now you get to reach even more people.
Yes.
More people.
The platform is
from
expanded.
all over.
Yes, from all over. I'm like, that's
Are
more
you
women.
ready?
I am so ready.
Yes.
I am READY, honey.
Good. That is
Very
amazing. So you've brought some here in the studio. Again, if you're listening on the podcast, just hop on over to YouTube or go to PRyourselfwithLeahFrazier.com. We'll have pictures there.
LeahFrazier.com.
Yes. So we had like a little fashion show, and that is amazing. Yes. So as we kind of wrap, what do you want the audience to kind of take away from your story?
Yes, I want women to love themselves. I want women to love themselves. I want them to understand how great they truly are. And anything that you love or that you care about, you dress it. You dress it well. Aww. You dress it beautifully. That's what this is all about. It's not about looking beautiful. It's about being beautiful, because that's who you are. Love yourselves.
Yeah.
I'm all about self-love. I'm a big thing on this. When you love yourself, you're telling God, thank you for creating me. Thank you. I love your creation, God. If you don't love yourself, that's an insult to God.
Ooh.
I never want to insult God.
Did you send her here for me today?
Just being honest.
Maybe this was for me, not y'all.
And it's for me too. So,
That was so good.
thank you.
What about for on the entrepreneurial and the business side? Because this was a grind to get here.
Definitely
It's
a grind. Definitely a grind. From the entrepreneurial side, I would say never stop learning. Never stop trying to understand. Never stop. Never stop. There's power in momentum. Where there's momentum, there's energy. And when there's energy, there are results. Energy is not still.
There you go.
It's moving. It's constantly. All the time. Do something. And I can even make it as simplistic as this, whether it's an email, a phone call, a drop, a visit, an interview, researching. Every single day you should do something closer to get to your goal. Every single day.
I love that.
If you have time, then you have time.
Yeah.
You have time, then you have time. People who don't have time are no longer here. You have time. If you're living, if you're breathing, if you're cognizant and you know what's going on around you, you have time. And time is the greatest gift that you ever have. So use it wisely.
That is fantastic.
Thank you.
I mean, there's nothing else really left to say. And I'm going to ask you a question.
Sure.
When you go through this whole process and you kind of look at it, what do you think your dad would say?
Oh, my God.
What would he say?
Wow, that's a beautiful question. My dad would say, Shavonne, you did exactly what you said you would do.
Yeah.
That's what he would say. I think out of the three of us, I was the child that was the one, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. No, I don't know how. I don't know when. I'm not even concerned about how. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he would say. You did exactly what you said you were going to do.
And that's a gift in and of itself, too.
Thank you.
And I love it. So you guys, you're going to want to follow Shavonne. You're going to want to buy her stuff. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you, Leah.
So ShavonneDorsey.com.
Yes.
And how else can we keep up with you? List all the social media.
Sure. I am on Instagram, Shavonne Dorsey, SHAVONNE, Dorsey, DORSEY. I'm Shavonne Dorsey everywhere. On Twitter, that's Shavonne Dorsey. Facebook, Shavonne Dorsey. I also have Shavonne Dorsey Designs on Facebook as well. I try not to deviate from that because I want to keep it simple and easy for people to find me. Yes, exactly. And just Shavonne Dorsey. And you can shop, even if you go to ShavonneDorsey.com and you click on shop, it'll take you directly to HSN store for me.
And you guys, you know how I am. I just love to support. So even if you are posting or sharing or retagging or whatever you're doing, just tag HSN in it.
Please.
Just over tag them. So they're like, dang, they really like Shavonne.
Yes.
You know, tag them in it. Even if you don't know if you should be tagging them in it.
Tag them.
Tag them in it. Okay.
That's right.
Because this is going to be completely major. This is such a big deal. Like I said, we met years ago and never did I even imagine. I was just like, after seeing it, she was the designer for plus size girls here, and like this is even another major step. So thank you so much for coming on the show. Definitely want you back.
Thank you. I'm coming back whenever you need.
As soon as you get a breather from HSN stardom.
No.
We'll definitely have you back. Thank you for pouring into not just the audience, but to me today.
So welcome. My pleasure.
And
that's one of my purposes, you know. That's why I'm living, honey. To pour into other people. That's my purpose.
And we're so excited for you. You guys know what to do. First of all, you need to subscribe. Okay. And then rate and review, and then share this episode. If you know there's a woman out there that would just love to hear this, or business owners that need to hear this, that need that extra leg up to keep going, share this out, rate and review. Reach out to Shavonne, or sometimes you guys just love to reach out to me, Leah@think3media.com. Hit us up on Instagram, PR Yourself Podcast. Stay tuned because we have more amazing episodes for you. And until next time.